everybody, welcome to another edition of Dr. Sue and You. So glad that you could join us again today. Have a fabulous guest in studio. Her name is Nina Sidell. She is a therapist, motivational speaker, and an award-winning writer. And I am going to bring her in just a minute. But we're going to talk about something I'm also very passionate about today, parenting, and how you can do that in a conscious way. So let's get right to it. Hi, Nina. Welcome to the show.
Sue, it's wonderful to be here with you.
I'm so happy you're here today. One, because we have so much in common the way we think, but also because you've written this amazing award-winning book that is endorsed by Deepak Chopra, somebody that I am very fond of and who many people around the world are too. That's quite an accomplishment.
Thank you. I'm very proud of the book. Deepak said, if you're interested in conscious parenting, this book is an excellent guide. Which
well,
is
we
humbling, it's very humbling to read that. And it won an award in 57 countries as well.
Exactly. So
I'm humbled.
I'm going to put up the book now so everybody can see this. It's called Parenting for Life, Consciously Creating Your Lifetime Relationship with Your Child, which is beyond important because, Nina, you're not just a parent for 18 years and then you're done. Is that correct?
Absolutely, and so many people have a mindset that thinks the opposite of that. And maybe that's because that's the way they were raised. Really, the whole ideal scenario in raising children, in my mind, and in this paradigm that I wrote about, has to do with focusing on the relationship from the beginning of your time together until the end of your time together between the parent and the child. So the roles may change in time. The dynamic may also hopefully evolve in time, although it's not stagnant. It's life-giving through their life together.
So are we a parent forever?
We are, although the roles, as I said, and the function changes. At some points, people need to revisit the relationship. If there was a lot of dysfunction early on and through the child's development, they may need to revisit and come see someone like you or me who helps them kind of find that middle ground or that way to communicate with one another so that both people feel empowered in the relationship and satisfied in the relationship.
I mean, absolutely, and I think that's important in any kind of relationship. It's not just parent-child relationships, is it?
Absolutely. And some of the tenets are also really valuable that could expand to other relationships around accountability and awareness of oneself and someone else's point of view and perspective. Also the idea that everyone is accountable and we all evolve through life. My opinion is that parents and children are both teachers and students for one another to help them evolve.
I agree. I mean, personally, I believe that parents are supposed to be the best role models for their children. But isn't it absolutely true that what we do, how we act, is emulated by them?
We are such important figures in our children's lives, and the same-sex parent is going to have the most impact on a same-sex child, and an opposite-sex parent is going to have the most impact on who they go for in life if they're dating the opposite sex as well.
Sometimes that can be dangerous.
I agree.
It can be, but you know,
if there's mental health issues, absolutely.
Right. That's the great point that you just made there. I'm not sure that everybody knows that. Now, that we choose our mates a lot of times based on our relationships with our parents.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we do.
And the presumption is that we're going to pick people that are good for us. Although if we were raised in dysfunctional families, or if during or after a divorce we were brought in to dysfunction that was detrimental, it can really be a block to people choosing wisely. So therefore,
that's right.
You know, learning about what's best for oneself is so critical.
But we're also not perfect people, and we're not perfect parents. And it's okay to mess up and show your kids that we mess up in life too. But when you do mess up, you talk about it.
Yes. One of the ways that I describe it in my book, and I used to tell my children all the time, and take responsibility as well, is when you mess up, fess up. And that really
Love that.
teaches the importance that we're all human, and sometimes the way that we learn and grow is to take a little bit of a step back or
Yes.
err on the side of, oops, I'm human.
Right.
And then own it and show by example as a good role model, what does that mean? Does that take away from your sense of self, or does it encourage you to feel strong no matter what?
Right. I mean, I think
Number 2.
fessing up is great because it shows you're taking responsibility for what you have done or if you've caused someone pain. That's a great lesson to learn in life because sometimes we spit out things from our mouths because we're angry or we're impulsive, and it may not be always what we feel, but if you hurt somebody, let them know it.
I so agree with you, and a part of that is also, what's the word? Displaying empathy.
Yes.
So if I mess up and I hurt you and I love you, I want you to know that that wasn't you. You didn't cause it.
Right.
It wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
I can own that and learn from it and work on it. And that's an amazing example to set as well.
Amazing. And empathy is one of the things I really try to work on with people. It's very difficult, Nina, to see someone else's pain all the time when you're also in pain.
Mm-hmm.
How do you look at that?
Can you be more specific?
When somebody is in pain, such as they've experienced a divorce, and their child is also experiencing pain from divorce, how do you mend that?
The first place that I begin with clients is, in this regard, is to help each person identify their pain point and where they are at. So the self-awareness piece is so critical. What their process is, meaning what they're feeling, what they're thinking, how they internalize what's going on, and separate it out. So the parent has their set of issues,
Right.
and the child may have their set of issues.
That's right.
So part of it's empathy, and part of it is the accountability piece that both people have to own.
Definitely.
And also that parents really, really need to work on themselves away from their children.
That's part of your book.
Yeah, and protect their children and know that it's personal growth over life, guys. This is a
Yes.
lifetime of golden opportunities, which I call insight moments and lifetime insights,
Yeah.
to help people develop as they grow.
I'm growing more now
Me too.
in my 40s than I've ever grown in my life because I think I'm able now
Good.
to look at things from a different perspective than I was when I was younger. And so I hope to keep on growing as I get older because I am enjoying my life a little bit more by looking at some of my own stuff.
Right, and I'm happy and proud for you. So
Thank
that's
you.
wonderful. You're welcome. And I
Yeah.
can say the same. And as an adult model to my adult children and to my clients and listeners, readers, audiences, I want to step into that same practice of the things that I talk about with other people.
Right.
So therefore, it's not that difficult as long as you're invested
Yep.
and you take responsibility and know who you are, know your core authentic self, and know that as a human being, you're going to continue to grow and you're going to continue to make mistakes until you realize you're sick of making those same mistakes.
That's right. And you're really willing to do the work to make the change within yourself.
Right.
Everything starts with ourselves.
Oh, of course.
But
And
why don't people understand that?
Well-
That frustrates me sometimes. I'm just telling you, it does. I even did a drum to that one. But it does.
Well, look, it can be very frightening for some people based on their mindset and the family of origin that they came from.
Yes.
To really take a good hard look, to be that self-honest.
Yes.
And that vulnerable. The authentic self, the part of us that is very identified with knowing our truth, knowing that we can honor our feelings and not wash over them, knowing our thoughts are original, we can genuinely tune into our beliefs and our feelings, really puts us in a position to be stronger in ourselves. And I think sometimes when people are put down or not
Yes.
rewarded as children or in a healthy enough environment, that's threatening. It's scary to take a look. It's better to just do the same old, same old.
Well, of course, because risk is scary. You don't know what the reward's going to be, or even if you're going to get one.
Right. So it's like not knowing where am I safe, where am I not safe. And for me personally, as a human being, I love taking safe risks because I get to be more of myself.
Right.
It doesn't diminish, and I get to be that example to my children, which I think is really cool.
I think it's great. I think the work that you're doing is great. You know, you really have a keen sense of what people are feeling. And so if you can have intuition into that, you can be a better guide to them in whatever problems they're going through. But let's turn back to this for a little bit and talk about what is conscious parenting. I want to know.
So for me, there's so many different ways to define so much in life. So from a simply understandable point of view, the word is used now in so many places, mindfulness, right?
Yes.
So consciousness, awareness, mindfulness, in my mind, is basically, they're synonymous with one another. So it's really taking the moment-to-moment experiences as a parent with each individual child and being aware of the role that's being played, the words coming out of one's mouth, the attitude that is being projected to the child, and also taking the ownership like we talked about a moment ago.
That's so important, ownership.
And again, I take it the step further that, sorry to interrupt,
no, it's okay.
It's about growing together over time. We're not done till we're gone, in my opinion. And it's being a lifetime learner. So conscious parenting is opening up that point of view to the point where you're allowing your child to be exactly who they are, whoever they are. We accept who you are, kiddo. And you know what? I'm who I am, and I'm conscious of that, and I'm proud of that. So it's a really beautiful, I think, balancing act between authenticity and presence.
That's right. And both parents and children have to be consciously aware of what's going on. And a lot of times they're not, because one's living in the past, one's living now. And that's not cohesive. So we have to get them to the place where they can be. All right, we're going to go to our first break. And when we come back, more with Nina Sidell. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Dr. Sue and You Show. I have a fabulous guest in the studio today, Nina Sidell. She is a therapist, award-winning author, and motivational speaker. Welcome back.
Thank you. Great to be here.
We're having such a great conversation right now, and we're talking about your book, Parenting for Life. Where can people get this?
That can be purchased, thanks for asking, on Amazon.com.
Okay.
And if they're at the back of the room after I speak, I can sell them a book as well.
Good. And do you do a lot of speaking?
I speak to organizations and groups that are interested. A lot of times it focuses on empowerment at home and at work.
Okay, that's good. I love empowerment, as you know. But one of the things that I find a lot of times in parenting is that parents don't know how or when to use their voice properly. Do you find that in your work?
Well, there's different ways that parents use their voice.
Okay.
And I want to add nonverbal. So there could be mixed messages also, like, you know, squinting and saying, I love you, or you're not supposed to do that, honey. So it's really important that the messaging, the voice of the parent, is as clear, unconditionally loving and respectful as possible. And accountable, which I mentioned earlier, which helps children, by example, know that I can say the same thing. This is my truth I'm sharing.
Because you're right, you can deliver something with your eyes rolling, and it doesn't have a firm message. Oh, this closed,
blocking.
We're closed up. I do that sometimes when I'm angry. And my husband will say, put your hands down, what are you blocking?
And, you know, putting hands on the hip, which is an angry pose. To assert oneself, which is fine, although it can be intimidating to children, especially little children.
So consciously, we're talking about conscious parenting. Think about what you're doing when you're delivering what you want to deliver to your child.
And ask questions and listen. I teach active listening, and I think it is such a needed skill that averts so many negative interactions.
Yeah.
If people can really slow themselves down and be present in listening to the other person. And then they can work on strategies
Exactly.
to overcome, hopefully.
So many people that come on my show talk about listening and how important it is. I am a firm believer in that too. In your opinion, why are we not good at listening?
I think that our society today especially
Yes.
is wrought and fraught with so much chaos and unpredictability and change, and many parents are very stressed out. Also, mental illness is up, so, and specifically narcissism, empathy is down, and so I think that people are so involved and stressed
Yes.
over what's going on in their worlds, and possibly if they're getting divorced and then they're turning into a single parent, that their focus is limited.
Right.
And they really need a place to dump all that so they can be fully there with their child.
Yes.
And their child may have issues that they don't know how to handle, especially if they're in a tumultuous mindset.
Well, that's absolutely right. So, you know what I'm getting from you? That you love mindset. You love authenticity. You love to bring people to a place where they can function at of the best of themselves. Is that why you love doing this work?
I do. Thank you for that wonderful feedback.
Okay, yeah.
I do. I think and feel in my heart of hearts that people need guidance and safety. And my goal, whether I'm with individual clients, couples, children, families, or an audience, is that everyone feels seen, heard, and understood.
Yes.
And that they feel safe. And I try and teach that and model that to parents as well, so that they understand that premise. And
What
the
does
importance of that.
what does feeling safe mean to you? Or what does feeling safe mean to your clients? What do you want to tell them?
That they're acceptable no matter who they are, that their core authentic self is worthy. Many of my clients over the years struggle with very low self-worth.
Yes.
And that they can express anything they need to. If it's their personal truth, you go. I'm here for you.
Right. Because that's what somebody needs. When they can feel validated on their own, then they can give to others freely.
Well, absolutely. And I noticed too that the examples that I give in the context of working with people and that sense of safety translates to a sense of safety that they may never have had before.
Yes.
In their entire lifetime. So it's also setting the stage for a new paradigm of how to relate to other people and how to really drop into their authentic self,
Right.
without being concerned about not offending, but being accepted. Just learning to accept themselves.
I mean,
It's huge.
I still struggle with that, don't you?
I like to take safe risks. So,
Okay.
So for me, if I am struggling with something, I lovingly support myself with it. That's
Okay.
my way.
How do you do that? Because this could be great for people to know.
True. I do comedy, improv, acting.
Okay.
I sing.
You want to do a little number right now or what?
Maybe another
Another
interview.
show? Okay. Yeah.
And it's kind of just having enough confidence and inner strength to know that, after that experience, you're still standing.
Right.
You're not going to fall into a pile of mush. If you can support yourself, and it brings up the idea of reparenting oneself.
Yes.
So what I do, I teach, and that is also to really honor the inner child.
Yep.
And taking that risk could be kind of like the inner mom in me saying to the inner child in me, come on, honey, we're going to go on stage and do this now.
Yeah.
Let's go. It's fun.
That's right.
Let go. Relax.
That's right. People don't know
So-
how to relax, Nina,
Yeah.
as much as they should, okay? They don't.
I
Because you
agree.
know what happens when you really relax sometimes? Thoughts come to you that you don't want or you don't like. But that's okay, because that's your time to recognize, hey, these are some things that I'm still struggling with. That's all right. How am I going to get through them?
Right.
Instead of pushing them away. Do you agree with that?
I do, and also in cognitive behavioral therapy and law of attraction.
Right.
What we think, what we believe, what we expect definitely drops into our feelings and then our actions. So it starts with those thoughts. So let's say that we take a risk and we have negative thoughts. That's an opportunity to challenge those negative thoughts and to find a better way to talk to ourselves and to nurture and pat ourselves on the back and hug ourselves.
Self-talk is something that you really are a fan of.
I am.
I am too.
And personal affirmations.
Yes.
Are very empowering.
Right.
Anything that helps people to give themselves what they need and to honor themselves and their truth, I'm all for it.
Right. And, you know, this is great that there's people out there like you working from this format, and it's helpful to people, because if you can't get somewhere close to your authentic self, whose life are you living?
True. It's sort of like,
Yeah.
I have an expression with women that I work with and
Right.
with certain groups that I work with, which is and I include myself because I'm a female, if we don't love ourselves and take care of ourselves, who will? Plus, we teach other people how to treat us. So if we're treating ourselves well,
Right.
and we have boundaries around that, then we're not going to let other people mistreat us.
That's right.
And they're watching that we treat ourselves well,
Right.
including our children.
Yeah, I mean, I have this conversation with people all the time. What you're doing with yourself is what you're putting out to the world. But
You're like the
people
poster
fight
child.
against that sometimes. You know, they don't, oh no, that's not what's really happening. Well, it keeps going on and on and on, so something must be happening, right?
Yeah, I don't know that everybody is that at ease with themselves in that regard. I feel
Right.
like our society rewards masking more than revealing who we are.
Love that. Say that again.
I believe
Yes.
that our society, what was the word I said? Values
Yes.
masking
Yes.
more than revealing who we really are.
That is amazing. I love what you just said, because it's so
and we buy
on
into
point.
it.
Right.
And our parents tell our children, be a good girl, do the right thing, which is
Yes.
fine.
Right.
How about be good to yourself, do what's good for you.
Right.
It's okay to think about yourself. It's okay to, that healthy selfishness that you
And
know as a
show
therapist.
yourself to the world. And not everybody's
are.
going to accept you, but there'll be a lot of people that do. All right, we're at the end of the show already. I can't even believe it.
Aw.
All right, but you've given some great information to our viewers. And your book, again, I'm going to hold it up, is Parenting for Life. But what I learned today is it really begins with yourself and doing the work on yourself. And if you can do that, you can become not only an amazing person, but an amazing parent too. Did I
Yeah.
nail it, Nia?
You did.
Nina?
And,
Yeah.
and not only that, but in addition, it's the legacy that you're leaving. So you're also teaching that to your children. And so that generational legacy can continue as well.
Absolutely. All right, tell everybody right over here how they can get in touch with you.
So please reach out to me if you'd like to work with me, either in therapy, if you want some life coaching, to hire me to speak to your group. And if you're interested in buying my book, Parenting for Life, at liveinspiredwithnina.com. Thank you.
Thanks so much for
Thank
being on the
you.
Dr. Sue and You
Thank
show
you.
today. It was
Wonderful.
great. All right, everybody, what another great show with an incredible expert, Nina Sidell. Growth takes time. Being a parent is an ongoing process that you can grow from and into. We're not perfect parents. I'm a parenting expert, and I mess up a lot too. But that's okay, because we can always get back on the horse, get up again, and do better. All right, everybody, have a great week, and we'll be right here next week with another episode of Dr. Sue and You. Thanks for watching.